I am my own doppelganger?
Ooh.
Welcome to the New Spirit radio show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, I hope we all agree, is June 19th of 2024. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Helping you answer the fundamental question, what are we here for?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So, for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. And this allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Raheim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Raheim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench on a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello, and we've got a spiritual helper here,
Uh huh.
Floofy, saying hello to everybody.
Hey, bud, how's it going over there? Looks like it's doing really well. All right, fun. Welcome, new people. Welcome, reviewers. Regardless of when you're watching this, I wanted to share with new people our agenda, what we're about, and why we enjoy spending so much time here. We start out with some announcements, and then our fun favorite topic is how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last week? If you're familiar with it, now's a great time to start posting in the comments. How did you use the philosophy? Then I'll talk about special prayers, and we'll have a moment of silence. Then we get into the trance segments with some fun, special, new information. Then we get to participate in a meditation by Sylvia. I talk about some closing notes, and then be patient for it. We have a special prayer ceremony that everybody's welcome to participate in. It's called a novena. I'll describe more about that later. I move from there to appreciation, and then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia.
Marvelous.
And for those of you that are in a appropriate place, you're welcome to light a candle too. We like light candles just to let everyone on the other side. It's kind of like it's putting out energy. It's because we're lighting the candle, but I also think of it as like the spiritual flare gun, like you have on a emergency, life raft. It's let's see. We did that. Quick announcements here. Okay, where did I? Thank you. That's more like it. Please do share, promote, like, subscribe, and click on the bell so that you get notified. Yes, occasionally we take a few minutes to after 6 p.m. to get started live. And but clicking on the bell and asking, promoting, liking, you'll get notified exactly when we come on live, and you can jump in and catch up with us. Please do donate. That helps keep things like this going and helps us expand what we can provide for you. That will be beneficial. You can go to our website and donate either by credit card or Venmo or PayPal. Lots of choices. And yes, I did welcome all the new subscribers and followers. Appreciate your finding us because you too can help others find us by what I was just asking for. Also, don't miss out on Chris's question specials. You can sign up on his website at chrisrightnow.com and get notified when there are specials available. I've just received several of them recently, so helpful. Okay, well, make sure I don't close the wrong window here. That's not good. We have enough challenges with technology not in our favor. We did that. We did that. Oh, how did you use announcements? I did that. Okay, our fun next segment is how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last week? And I like to poke
Marvelous.
at Cat and say, you can choose, or we can do rock, scissors, paper, or
I'll volunteer to go first.
all right.
So um, I've been continue to work hard on my diet and taking recommendations as Francine and Raheim have given us, and to take it seriously. It is continuing to make a difference in long COVID symptoms, and it was really interesting that um, that 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 experience that I'd told people about a couple of times in the past, where I want to say like 2 Octobers ago, I was probably at kind of like the lowest point of the long COVID, and I was just exasperated, beside myself, trying to figure out what was going on and
Mm-hmm.
anything that would help. And I had woken up with just a crystal clear words in my mind, green tea and fennel, and it was a
Oh,
man's voice, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, okay, other side, I will try anything. I will absolutely try anything at this point. So it's interesting that I wanted to bring that back, because I was really super excited. I'm in the process of renewing my license, and I just attended my therapist license in California. It's a marriage and family therapist, and so I had attended a lecture by a doctor talking about how to recognize long COVID symptoms, and I learned a lot. And one of the things that he said is, like, after like his team working with 17,000 long COVID patients, like,
Mm.
say, like, very, very strongly, this is it's an inflammation. It's an inflammation response that is causing it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I know about the green tea is that it has a very strong anti-inflammatory effect on me and for a lot of people. And so I just thought that was fascinating, because I think my thinking back in the time, because like the whole world is trying to figure this out, or like
Yeah.
this whole thing is just a disaster fire. Nobody knows anything. Great. But I remember thinking at the time, was like, well, maybe it's just lingering infection and lingering virus. And what he says is, like, that doesn't look like it's the case. It looks like there's like pieces of virus that gets left behind, and the body is trying to respond to that, and and the immune system is trying to react to it and clean it out.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, get out of here, get. And so there's this heightened inflammation that's outsized. And so I thought that was really fascinating. And I just want to give credit again to the trance that we had listened to, that gave credit to, like, with Raheim saying, we have found a lot about green tea. On the other side,
Mm-hmm.
doing research, they're in the process of finding more and more benefits to green tea. So I want to give a shout out to Raheim. Thank you so much for sharing that. Shout out to whoever was able to get through to my like in between waking and sleep brain, because gave me my life back, and was able to start getting a lot of things back on track. And now I'm having discovered this doctor, and just as you do, I'll blame my spirit guide for helping connect me to this
Yeah.
particular person. So now I've got another source of information to keep finding answers, to keep continuing to feel better and better. And so he's got like a whole thing and special tests. So I'm gonna get connected with that person. I'm super excited. I'm super grateful, and I will let people know. And if you are interested about what I'm looking at, it is the website. I'll be happy to post in the comments on YouTube. But it is covidlonghaulers.com.
Hmm.
And there's a team of well-respected doctors. And so here again, this is another example of saying, like, I just want to offer it as an example that, yes, we can welcome our scientists with open arms, welcome our doctors with open arms, and have, like, for our spirituality to be able to inform things, but we don't want to cut doctors out of the equation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
It's fun you were bring up the topic of green tea, because I drink several teas during the day, And one of them, occasionally when I think I've had too many black teas, I'll grab a green tea, which I have a jasmine green tea, which is I particularly like. So that was fun. That's fun.
Marvelous.
And I'm out, so I'm almost out. I got to get some more. So fun. Cool.
Marvelous.
Um,
Marvelous.
let's see. Oh, you know what? I
And
I did some homework.
oh, woohoo! What did you
Yeah.
use of Novus philosophy
Oh,
recently?
I have to find it.
I love hearing.
Uh, oh, we we were out meeting the parents, as it were. Um, um, my partner's son's girlfriend. We were meeting their parents, and I went out to dinner. And I was asked, "What do you do to keep healthy?" And I was like, "Stress." And then I
Oh no.
added to that. I said, "I need to adjust." So and that was my. However, I am taking things. I do see myself habitually taking things too serious, which I get into this. "Oh, I gotta go," and recognizing and letting go of the intolerance of not getting enough done. So I'm learning my what's it? There's a word that I don't like. It's not self awareness, but it goes along the lines of self awareness. Anyway, I'm starting to look at okay. Oh, plus what the other thing that's sort of ringing my okay, I got to do something bell. Chris Dufresne made an interesting short post about. He says something to the effect, if I gave you a poison, would you eat it?
Mm.
He asks outright, and it's like, well, that's what you're doing with stress. Stress is, you know, it, and I've also heard in other studies. This isn't correct. Some I've heard in other studies that I think it was stress is similar to like smoking cigarettes. So has the similar damage, as it were. So yeah, I'm like, okay, we got to make adjustments here, and letting go of the hey, I'm not getting as much stuff done. So, but that's okay. It's like okay, let's figure out how are we going to enjoy these activities. So it's like go with the flow, and the other thing too. Oh, matter of fact, in one of the sorry, I've edited a bunch of trances, so I'm not sure if it was the past or future thing.
No
But the
problem. No problem.
recollection is,
Sure.
the recollection is, it was related to let go and let God, go with the flow, and oh, if you're anxious and holding on, it's not going to come to you. Even if you're
Oh,
programming, profusely, it's just the I gotta it's the emotional thing of instead of just kind of like okay, you take care of it, God, and I'm just gonna ask for it. So
great
that's the kind
reminder.
of thing to keep in mind of and what one of the things that the memories that comes along that I like to watch Caesar Milan with he's got a couple of different shows, and I see several YouTube videos clips that get put on. And every once in a while, if you watch, if he's talking or helping people and do something, and a dog's being agitated, he stops for a minute and goes. He takes a couple breaths, and when he recognizes when his stress level's too high to be working with the dogs, helping the dogs, and which is an interesting observation. As far as for us, you know, reminder of us. Yes, sometimes we need to stop in the middle of what we're doing and just let it go. Change if you have to switch your focus. Think about something else for a moment, just to kick your mind out of that grind, as it were, and give yourself a chance to shift your emotion.
Very, very good reminders. Love it. Love it.
Okay, who's got what? Who said what in the comments?
So, in the comments section, it's nice to see folks on both Facebook and YouTube. Shout out to long listeners Ron and Gibson. It's great that you're here. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Alicia. That's marvelous. I want to say, and then over on YouTube, Old School says, no worries, Tom. If you're more than 10 minutes late, I go check the community tab to see if there's a message.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Kathy, hello. Gardens shares, I found a feather 2 separate times, and I thought it was a sign of angels protecting me, and I almost got mugged today. But someone intervened and told me to get out of here. Wow. So your sign that you were being protected, and then somebody showing up with that message of protection, that's amazing. Oh, goodness. I'm glad that you're okay. I hope that you're able to take care of yourself and let your nerves calm down and take a walk, whatever you need to feel like you can calm down. That's crazy. Let's see here. Jorge and Reverend Cass can only be here momentarily, but they stopped by to say hi. Hello. Jorge says, I just wanted to say thanks to God and everyone who prayed for my sister's health and for me getting a government job that I wanted. Thank you all for your prayers and positive vibes and blessings. Blessings your way too. Continue to put out that good energy for you. Jorge says the power of prayer is real and true, and we're going to hear a little bit about that today regarding Asna and praying to Asna, so look forward to that. It's exciting. It's wonderful seeing our community, and AC asks, do you have dogs, Tom?
Did. No.
Got it.
Not this time.
Mm.
Yes, we know, but in our household, we're kind of like, we're not quite, it's not a fence sitter. We're still on the other side of the fence of, oh my God, there's a lot of responsibility with that. We've got.
True.
So, occasionally what we'll do is go visit a dog park just to go watch the dogs for a few minutes.
That's happy. That's very happy. Very happy. Oh, man. We are up to, Aaron points out, we're up to 470 subscribers, or almost at 500. Ugh.
Cool.
Close. That's really cool.
Thanks for all the help.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for all the help. And I'm just glad that people find this helpful and happy. It's wonderful to be here. Yeah, lots of conversation happening over on Facebook. It's fantastic, and I look forward to the conversation we're going to have today. The trance segments today are so interesting. I am so excited to hear everybody's thoughts on this. So feel free to ask questions and leave comments. And if you have had wild experiences, such as what we're going to get into today, like you see the title that Tom wrote up saying doppelgangers, we are talking about doppelgangers today. And it's a potpourri night, so we're going to hear lots of topics. So it's going to be a fun time.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Okay, sorry.
Sure is.
I'm like, when I've edited, it's like, oh, this is going to be in the future, but you're bringing up things that I recently heard. I'm like, makes me scared. Mm-hmm. But anyway, sorry, that's just my, because of my exposure.
No, I'm so excited to hear about this because people talk about doppelganger experiences, and it's like people have no idea what's going on because they'll see somebody alive and they're like, I saw you. Right. What the heck is going on? I know I'm not insane. I saw you. What the heck? So I'm so excited to hear about this.
Yeah, I've had
really?
one of those. And anyway, those are
cool.
Those are
interesting.
So we did that. How do we use that? Oh, all right. Sorry, I thought we were getting into the trance. No, we've got a couple other things to talk about, and then we'll get there. Now it's time for special prayers and a moment of silence. So what I'd like you to do is visualize, regardless of when you're watching this. I want you to visualize the outcome of something that you feel could use some help intervention or something, people or situations that can use some help. So visualize what that outcome is and then ask for the greater good. So we're going to ask Mother God, the archetypes, archangels, even our spirit guides to get involved and put that energy out, get those influences, pull on our ears or poke us or something to help create better for those that are in need. Yes, there's a lot to pray about. Let's see. I was trying to think if I have. Oh, and for those, yes, if you're posting in the comments, great. Yes, that's public. If you'd like to make a private a prayer request, you can always go to the website and click on prayer chain and fill in the form there. No one reads those. However, we are including all of them, regardless of when things are posted. We're just going to include them all. So let's take a moment of silence and ask them to get out there and help us out in the best way they can. Amen.
Amen.
And let's see, we did that. Sure, we did that. Of course, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. If you are streaming challenged and you'd like to listen live to us by phone, and it's while we're live, we have a conference call phone number you can call in on and listen. That number is 888-534 2696. I do appreciate that you stay muted so that everybody has a wonderful session or listening to the podcast.
Love it.
Okay. Now
Love
we
it.
are going to now we do the trance segments.
Okay, so we are starting a new trance. And the date on this is December 1st, 1997. And Francine is going to be talking about Raheim and a bit about his life and his spirituality, which is going to be interesting. Mystical travelers have extra access on the other side, and why that is, what the intention is behind that. A quote, "The more you find your kingdom through wisdom and through within, the more freely you are moving." Then, can Sylvia bilocate? Some dreams of Sylvia are hallucinogenic. Sometimes it's Francine that people are seeing. Bilocation is a doppelganger, and people aren't aware that they're doing it most of the time. Okay, here we go.
Cool. All right.
I thought this would be the last series for a while, but no. Raheim is coming in for the next 4 weeks. And I forgot to ask him what his subject matter will be. But I think it has an awful lot to do with the physiological makeup of the inner workings of the mind, the soul mind, the base self, and the levels of self that we are dealing with. This will also go along with a lot of the healing that you might want to employ, but it's more on a very scientific level. So anybody that's interested in that, we haven't informed Sylvia of that, but then I know that she'll go along with it because after all, she's just in the process of loaning her body anyway. So next time, starting I think in a week or two,
Yeah, I think we're gone for a couple of weeks.
And then you're running into your Christmas time, aren't you not? Then I think it'd be the first of the year would be a good
January,
time to
whatever.
start.
Whenever we're in town.
The new year.
Tom, could you make more volume?
The new year will see that you're in here most of the time. I mean, January starts a lull somewhat, and then
Yes.
February is somewhat of a lull until about the mid. So we probably can get in 4 weeks consecutively, which will be nice in January. Because Raheim, unlike me, does not like to stop in midstream. It makes him very cranky. And Raheim, as you know, and maybe some of you have not known, or some of you that do know, was and is a Sikh. He was very, very entrenched in very many religions. He was also a teacher, a mentor, a very high elevated soul in life, as he is part of council. So he's very, very elevated as far as his knowledge and his performance ability. So he doesn't like for me to brag on him, but I think you're all very, very blessed to ever be able to see him. And I'm certainly not demeaning myself, but I have no way to express to you that I have anywhere near the knowledge that he has, because my life wasn't as a teacher. Whatever I have learned, I've had to study up furiously before I come in. And so anyway, that's enough of the commercial for Raheim. We did go over the different areas of what were the interplanetary implants. And because somebody, I think at one point, had brought up the ridiculousness of the Tower of Babel. Not only did languages were different, of course, but the intellectual processes were much different. Now, I don't want you to feel, if you're Asian or Nordic or whether you came from Pleiades or Andromeda or Crab Nebula, that you are inferior, because please realize that probably not just from those areas is your genetics from, but most of you are Nouveauites anyway, so that sort of negates the fact of ultimately what other side you're from anyway. Or being a mystical traveler, that negates also the fact that you could and can and do visit many other sides, depending on what your relationship is with the people that you've loved and left there. Any Gnostic, which you are Gnostic, is able to travel at a easier speed and much more accessible to all the domains and all the quadrants within every other side. I don't know whether you know this or not, that is not able to be penetrated by other entities. You are issued from the knowledge that you acquire, very much like an honorary doctorate. You're issued what we call the key. And that key hangs on a gold chain around your neck, which means you're admitted to quadrants that other people are not admitted to. Because most of you know about the pools, you know about the towers, you know about the tones and the Hall of Voices, you know about so many things that nothing... The only reason we're not into keeping people out, we just don't want to have people wandering around and they don't know where they are and what this is about. And going into, let's say, sacred archives that they would not appreciate or not know what they were ever reading. And some people may ask, why is it so important to get spiritual knowledge? Because in getting spiritual knowledge allows you to keep, as you come over to a higher level in which you can attain even more spiritual knowledge. So as you do it on this earth, so will you do it, as our Lord said, in heaven. And the more you find your kingdom through wisdom, through knowledge from within, the higher your place comes and more freely you are moving. There has been a question that has been presented that Raheim says on the internet that I would like to endorse. And that is, can Sylvia bilocate? Yes. I'm not sure that she knows she can. I'm not sure she wants to know that she can. I'm not sure that she wouldn't be exhausted if she knew she could. But yes, she can. That's why, now some of the dreams and visitations that people are getting are hallucinogenic at best, but she can. I've also at times been known to appear in rooms for people that call me, and they will sometimes misinterpret the fact because they see a tall woman, just surmise it is her when it really isn't her. But yes. And as you reach maybe just another inch of a level, if not, some of you might already be at the point that you can bilocate. I'd have to go through every one of your charts with your permission, but you might be right now at the place where you can bilocate. As you advance spiritually, you will be able to bilocate. And it's not just times of stress. It would be times at really wanting your essence to split and to travel to a far-off place to give solace to a loved one or a child or a parent or something, and still be able to keep your essence within yourself, in your base self, in other words.
Do you mean we could do it full conscious mode, bilocate? Is Sylvia in full consciousness?
No.
I'm not a witch.
No, she's not in full consciousness.
Because is it different from an astral state?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It really is a bodily transformance of the spirit glorified body that is able to go out. It's a doppelganger.
But we don't carry the recollection of the event?
Not always.
Okay, rarely.
Rarely.
But we can get out.
The two minds of the higher self. Now, please, when I say higher self, that doesn't mean that there's a self on the other side. I mean the higher minded, as we know in the power source, in the knows all. That's the power source. It knows all. The power source, when accessed in the superconscious of you, Sylvia, anyone, could find out if you were bilocated.
So interesting. Yes, that's a fascinating point, and I hadn't thought for myself because I've forgotten this particular trance and that particular point, knowing that I was there, that we can, and it's like, oh well, what are we gonna do with it? Well, she mentioned. I think it's getting out and nudging and helping others. In some form, if we see or want to know or want to help.
Yes. So I have a question. What exactly is bilocation?
So a helpful Francine was just giving, I think, a helpful clarification. It's part of. I don't want to say part because that's just so. Part of our essence, I'll have to say it, part of our essence goes and visits somebody else. And, I think it can be on the other side, but most of the time it's used here that you go and visit someone else. And many times you would show up in a physical form to the other person. Even though it's not your physical body splitting, to my understanding, it's your higher self, your essence, that is your spirit self, your higher minded self, reaches out to another individual and shows up there in full, what appears to them as full essence. An example we've heard about doppelgangers and have had questions in the past about doppelgangers.
So many people have had stories of doppelgangers. It's wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Which a quick description is that's where Kat and her husband see me in their apartment and of course I'm not there physically. I didn't go there. I didn't travel, but they see me there, and they go, "Hey," kind of get a little startled because how did I get in? First of all, secondly, when did I travel there? And maybe I say something. Maybe I'm just there to just show and say trigger something in them emotionally. But yet I'm still sitting in my house here. And what we're learning just now is I might not be aware of it consciously that I just did that. But Kat and her husband are like, hey,
No. We hold up. We know what we saw. We're not crazy because we've all saw. Yeah. Yeah.
And we've heard, so that's the simple version of that.
It's an example, like a hypothetical
We've,
example.
you know, several of us have had experiences of that. We know we've seen someone that we know or are familiar with, and maybe we didn't reach out and connect with them, but we saw them and we know it. Yet they never, you know, they're physically somewhere else.
Yes. So I want to offer. So someone just asked, is it the same as astral projection? No, it's not. It's not the same thing as astral projection. In astral projection, you are a lot more aware of what's going on, and like all of you has left the building. You're still breathing, obviously, but your soul
Your
is completely
essence is-
out.
Right.
But bilocation, it sounds like is really kind of like there's some sort of
split of
split
essence.
happening. Yeah.
It's not a degradation of self. You're not, you know, only half of yourself. It's just another piece of you. But yes, for lack of a better term, you split your essence gets split and goes and does the visitation.
It's amazing.
We should hear more about that.
Amazing. Yeah. We have heard that that on the other side, so as 100% spiritual selves, like after we pass over, we have the ability naturally to bilocate and be at two places at once. So we could be attending a lecture and also like at home doing art, for instance, or having a conversation or at a party. So we can do that on the other side very comfortably, is what we've been told in the past, as like this is a natural thing that spirits know how to do. She said that some people can trilocate on the other side, but it starts getting a little bit more difficult. We've heard that Jesus on the other side can bilocate without any degradation of essence, but that's the only entity that they know of that can do that. On the other side, have lots and lots of places at once as a spirit. Yeah. So what we're talking about in this particular lecture with Francine in this trance, she's talking about bilocation in life. So when I first heard that, I was like, what the heck? This is so wild. But if you think about it, like if you type in doppelgangers, there are so many people who have stories that are just absolutely unexplainable, because it's not that they had seen a ghost, it's they had seen a person. They had seen a person, right, that they know. And they're like, no, this person was not here, but I saw them and everybody else saw them that was there too.
And
like they saw a person. Yeah. And then if you go and confront the other person, they're like, where were you? They're like, I wasn't here. What are you talking about? Yeah. So that's this phenomenon that she's describing now. She's saying that that people who get to be get to a level of like emotional and spiritual evolvement start being able to do this, and they're not aware of it. It sounds like in most cases. In part 2 of this trance, in the next segment we're gonna hear more. We're gonna hear her talk more about that with regards to if people in some instances are more aware of it in some instances. So
cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, we've got some other things, other comments. Fantastic. Let's see here. Miller says, I've done this more than once, and my granddaughter has done it also. Love his talk helping me on a journey each time. It's really fascinating. Cheryl says, my dog came to visit me. What in terms of like a doppelganger dog? What happened there? my sound. Tom, can you try saying something? Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron says, and the person who is bilocating doesn't know. That's correct. That's what we're being told. The person who's bilocating doesn't know. Do we bilocate in heaven as we are on Earth at the same time? I don't think so. I think that in the way that she's using it now, it is like physical bilocation. Like someone could potentially like reach, like, let's say that I was like physically bilocating in this instance. If someone were to physically like talk to me and interact with me, it sounds like that would be possible. I'll give you an example. I had a coworker once who told me this crazy story. A coworker had gotten, and I've told this story on here in the past, but it's been a couple years. This individual had been on his motorcycle and got into a motorcycle wreck, and was quite certain that he was dead, and was, because it was such a very, very awful motorcycle wreck. But when he came to, he said that the neighbor had come to him and was looking at him, and my coworker said, "Am I dead?" And the neighbor said, "Of course you ain't dead." And he's like, "Well, like, you can see me?" He's like, "Of course I see you. Who else would I be seeing?" And then just like walked away. But when he went to follow up, that neighbor was gone on a trip and was not there. But that's who that person had seen. That could have been an angel posing as someone,
Right.
like, sure. But what he said is, I didn't see any. I saw a physical person, and it was my neighbor, had the intonation of my neighbor, the mannerisms of my neighbor, and that's who I saw. So, and of course the neighbor's not going to be like, "Oh yes, I was in fact in two places at once." Like,
Right.
So, Old School says, I've never experienced seeing a live person, but after my mom passed, she would visit me and I could see her and hear her. Those types of visits stopped once I became pregnant with my first child. Thank you for sharing that.
Which, not to degrade the experience, but that
course.
doesn't sound like a doppelganger. It's if your mom
Visitation. Yeah.
was still alive and still, and then you heard or saw her in the house at some point, that's considered the doppelganger. But yes, I agree. Having after a loved one has died, I express to people, it's always, to me, it's fun to find out how they let you know they're okay from the other side. What kind of things do they do for you? Do they flicker the lights, send unusual birds or things, or leave coins in the house or something that are or move things that you can't find afterwards?
Old School says, when I was 15, I got pregnant. I think that she figured I was becoming a woman, so she no longer visited in that way. My little brother got upset when we were talking because he couldn't hear her or see her. So, this was really a visitation. She was just right on that vibration that she could interact with you. That's really interesting and fascinating. Glad that you had that.
Yeah.
Aaron says, I told my friend who had bilocated that I had seen her and she had no idea. Wow. Gosh, this is like shockingly more common than I think we realize. This is so interesting. Kristen says, I had a visit from my deceased mom, and she said it took many hands to bring her to me. Wow. Oh, that's really interesting.
What does that mean? Took many hands to bring her to me. Is that what you said?
I wonder if, that's what she said. Kristen has, if your mom said more and you have more of a interpretation, we'd love to hear it. It gives me some ideas, but it's just a hypothesis at this point. So I'd love to hear if you have more to share, if you felt like it. AC says, have you guys seen those photos of celebrity doppelgangers from the 1800s or time travelers? I've seen some of them. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe we'll hear more about it. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we should listen to more, because I think at this point, if we answer any more questions, we should just let Francine give us more information, because I think that's where it's headed. There's
Gotcha.
great stuff ahead. So let me see here. Okay, so we're going to hear about the difference between astral projection and bilocation. The teachers Mohammedan, Apollonius, and Buddha were better physical bilocators than Jesus. The spirit of Muhammad was actually shown the world, as is described in the Quran, as well as Apollonius and Buddha had similar experiences. And we're going to listen. We're going to hear about these great masters' experiences, and more about awareness of this phenomenon when it happens.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Listen up.
Yes.
Is this different than just being like exterior, like going out of your body and just
Much different. Astral projection is that your full essence is out. And the body is just lying there as a lifeless lump. It's still breathing, but it's not. But bilocation is part of the body is one place and the other part is split off and gone to another place.
And actually manifests.
Yes.
And so there's like two of this.
Yes.
So the body of the person can be seen in both places physiologically. My question is, if a person is going to do this, do they do it on a conscious, I'm going to do this, or is it on a soul level always?
Soul level.
So that's why you may not be cognizant.
That's right. Just a power source would know. If the person was under a very, let's say, densified hypnotic spell, they would probably be able to tell you that they were doing it, going into the power source, or let's say, the superconscious of the mind. Yes.
My mom's done that several times, where I'm talking to her, and I turn around, and she's not there, and she's doing dishes in the kitchen.
That's a doppelganger, though, because I asked Francine.
Doppelganger.
I asked Francine.
The bilocation really is where you would be in your bed, fully conscious, writing something down, and another essence of you would be somewhere else visiting someone. And the more advanced you get, the more the split off is available to you.
I mean, there's no.
There's twin. It's like the twin self goes.
In the astral projection state, you don't necessarily see the apparition, so to speak. You're more of a mental state, right? Not a physical body. If you do an astral projection.
Oh, you can be in a glorified body, but you're all out.
Right.
You don't have one part in that's conscious and the other part out that's conscious. You're all out.
Is an astral projection visible to other parties?
Can be. Many times, and I think Sylvie's told this story over and over again, is the woman drove up to the house in England, and when she went to the door, they said, "Oh my God, the ghost," because the woman had said she'd seen the house so many times. Her astral self was visiting that house, and they thought she was a ghost, but she was still living.
For people, which is easier to see? Your bilocated doppelganger?
Bilocated. Bilocated is an actual glorified body.
So if somebody sees you, it's more likely to be a bilocation?
To be a bilocation.
But not necessarily. It could be an astral state.
Very rarely.
Okay. Got it.
When you do the bilocating, can you carry on conversation? Can you assist, so you can be your...
And assimilate and give answers to questions and give advice.
So the only way you know is if someone recognize the fact that you're in two places.
Exactly. Now, I'm sure that higher up, if you cared to carry all that information, which I know she doesn't want to do, you could ask that information be allowed to you or brought forth, but that's an awful lot.
So the whole purpose is to assist others. It's healing.
That's right. And I don't think it's I know it sounds crazy, any of your business to know what your spiritual self is doing. It's not a separate self. See, I don't want you to ever get the idea that it's a multiple. It's just a splinter off. There's more, let's say, for the sake of finite minds, there's more brain cells than we ever use anyway, so that many can be taken away and still keep the essence of self without any depreciation from the original self.
Didn't you say that Christ himself could more than
Trilocate, quadlocate,
Penta, septa, hexa.
yes.
So what this is really used for, like if someone was in need and they called you, then this other self would go there and take care
That's right.
of whatever problem it was and
Mhm.
give advice and
Right.
healing or whatever.
That's right, yes. It's very effective. It's also effective for healers to do that, to get to the point that they can bilocate. And the more you send that energy across the wires to help somebody that's ill, the more that energy begins to build itself into a tulpa, and the tulpa then becomes a reality, which is a splintering off of yourself. Yes.
Well, relevant to the separation, it's a dimensional separation as far as the body goes. So you're actually more in contact with the other side when you're in that bilocated state. So you're able to focus the universal constant more effectively, and thereby cell memory certainly would relevate.
Absolutely, but you see, because there's no boundaries then.
So basically it'd be like stepping into that point of the doorway, like we talked about, but not going through the doorway, but going translaterally.
Absolutely. And you could, you see, because then you're going into the timeless zone, you're going into the all-knowing zone, you're going into the information, the power source. So many things are available to you.
And you're actually bridging the veil then.
Absolutely.
You're actually the bridge for the veil at that point.
That's right. You're absolutely the bridge. Not only the bridge, but you're the lifeline sometimes. Yes.
Raises the question, when Jesus came off the cross, was his appearance his astral, his doppelganger, or just him walking around?
It was him walking
The
around.
real deal?
Now, the ones that could bilocate, you see, honestly, he was not the greatest bilocator. Mohammedan was a far better bilocator with conscious knowledge. So was Apollonius of Tyrrhenia. So was Buddha, was a tremendous bilocator. I'm sure that if Christ had had a long enough time in public life, he may have done that, but especially since he went away to France, he didn't need it anymore.
Interesting you should say Muhammad, because, correct me if I'm wrong, one of his main stories is that on the rock of the mount, he was lifted up and carried around the world by God and shown the world, and he was consciously, physically aware of this. It's one of his main recollections from when he got the calling. Does that sound right? You guys study his, you guys study the teachings, the words of the Quran?
Yes, I've studied some of the Quran pertaining to what you're speaking of. It's translated in so many different ways
Right.
that I would feel that when I obtained and studied the Quran and Islam, that it was more so not in the physical but in the mental state.
That's right. He's exactly right. It was the spirit of Mohammedan that was actually shown the world.
Yeah.
Through like a scanner, he was actually elevated by God to circle the globe and to see down upon all the people and the different races. Also, Apollonius was. Buddha did. Christ did not, though. After his demise, he bilocated, trilocated, whatever.
So yeah, interesting history of, and it almost not that I've got time at this moment to do it, but I'm curious about learning more about Apollonius of Tyrrhenia, and his. It's one of anyway, popular subject.
Yeah, I have to look for my notes. I'm looking for my phone. I don't think I grabbed it. It might be in the other room, but I've got a lot of notes on Apollonius from the past. Apollonius of Tyrannia was apparently a contemporary of Jesus. He was another just prolific Gnostic, prolific teacher, and they had a really difficult time keeping him in jail because he would bilocate, and then actually he was so advanced that he was actually able to bilocate out. Like he would. So in other words, we're getting into a crazy word. Like he teleported himself out of jail. Like they couldn't keep him in jail. It was really apparently a real difficulty for the Greek authorities. But apparently he was apparently Jesus spent some time with him, and they influenced each other in a positive way. And unfortunately, history was very, very aggressive in stamping out as much of the positive things that he had done as possible. So we're told in past trances that a lot of his work, almost all of his work, didn't survive, unfortunately, because it was so aggressively aggressively gone after. Mm-hmm. Apollonius, I will spell it. So it's like Apollo, like the sun god. Apollonius, Nius. So that's how to spell it. Yes, yeah, super interesting.
Wasn't Apollonius? I'm trying to remember if that was one of Sylvia's favorite people, or it was Christ's favorite, because I remember yes, he did study together with him, but I don't recall now if that was one of Sylvia's favorite
That's a good
persons.
question. That's a good. I don't remember. That was such a long time ago where I hearing her talk about that. Oh yeah, if anyone knows, maybe Jorge, when he comes back when he comes back and listens to this, Jorge, send us an email if you remember. Or if anyone does, please send us an email. Apollonius of Tyre. Let's see here. So his Wikipedia says he was a 1st century Greek philosopher and religious leader from the town of Tyana. And he spent his life traveling and teaching in the Middle East, North Africa, and India. And he was one of the most famous miracle workers of his day. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Also, he apparently knew something like 40 languages. And Jesus knew tons of languages too, but Apollonius is just just like ferociously intelligent individual. So, interesting stuff.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Now, a few folks are saying this is the first time hearing about Apollonius. Yeah, exactly, because the authorities aggressively went after him, but we were told in trances during when Francine was talking years ago about like very in depth about Jesus's life, that Jesus and Apollonius were contemporaries and had positive influence on each other, and that they really liked each other. So it's cool stuff. All right. Gibson says Apollonius was Sylvia's favorite. Interesting. Thank you so much. I'm so glad for our collective good memories, and thank you. That's marvelous. Old School says, I just have to share. While we're on now, my daughter texted and said the new dog she adopted pushed through her 6-year-old son and grabbed his cat and took off, and she's been looking for him for hours. So we'll be very glad to say some prayers right now. So as soon as we go to our next segment, we'll be glad to say prayers. ask for Lilith to intervene. All right. Tom, do you have any other thoughts?
Oh, yes. One last thought, since we're
Great.
on our first segment. Francine was talking about Raheim's coming up, and I wanted to make a note. No, Raheim's not coming out soon. He's gonna be a couple trances later. Because when I heard it when I was editing, I'm like, oh, when? I went, looked up, and researched the notes, and no, it's going to be a little while. So I didn't
Okay.
want people sitting on the edge of their seats like I was.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'll go ahead and read the next segment's notes then. So the God of Abraham was much kinder, but the writings afterwards got vicious. God made all people and is not prejudicial. Even if you don't believe it, try it, regarding asking Asna for prayers. And then lastly, a quote, in order for us to be human, Asna herself needed to be humanized. Interesting.
Cool. All right. Food for thought.
It's very interesting to note that through all the big major religions, you know who the father of those religions are. It's Abraham. The one thing that most religion has in common, except for Baha'u'llah, is they go back to the God of Abraham. And that's the one thing that seems to cement the groups together. And the God of Abraham wasn't a terrifying God at that time, wasn't a God of judgment. Later on, the writings get very, very vicious about God, but at that time, we have, up to that time, if you read the Talmud, the Quran, biblical texts, God was a very loving, sympathetic God. Loving women, elevating men, loving family, children, animals. And then from that point on, man-made fear began to take hold because everyone was so afraid that God would be taken from them that they began to make God more violent and more auspicious and more conspicuously evil in many ways. Because when you start entering into the concept of God being vengeful, petty, hateful, mean, prejudicial, you've really got a Satan.
True.
If you really were to add up the meannesses, so to speak, if there is such a word in your language, of God, and you were to attribute these without having God there, say there is an entity, let us say, that is mean, vengeful, has tremendous peculiarities of prejudice, of hating one race, you would say, oh, that's got to be evil. And yet, what they've attributed to this is the word God, which is wrong because this is where it started with man, that it wasn't just the Tower of Babel, so to speak, in, let's say, in symbolic form. But what happened is, if you supposedly are a different color, or different race, or different creed, or you speak a different language, then you've got to be an alien to me. This is where that began. Because according to biblical texts, you see, God at one point supposedly did not like the Philistines. God supposedly did not like the Ammonites. God supposedly did not like the Sumerians. Now, how insane is that when who made them? God had to make the Sumerians, the Ammonites, and the Philistines. The same God that made the Philistines, the Ammonites, are the gods that made all of us. I think maybe in their paltry way they might have been talking about there was such a thing as darkness within entities. We all know that the evilness abounds in certain entities. But when the entity eventually comes to the point of truth that resides in every man's heart, which encompasses, of course, the major belief in Asna, the major belief in the Christ consciousness, but more important is Asna. because all down through history, she is the one that is, in fact, supervised the implantation of souls coming down. She is the one that's directional. She is the creative force. And she's the one that really, really answers prayers. She is the great interceptor, as you well know. And I've said to people time and time again, as Sylvia said in her lectures, even if you don't believe, try it. You see, there's such a confidence in saying, try to ask her for something. She doesn't mind being challenged because she'll come through almost every time, even against her own chart, without creating any offensive backwash of karma to it. She has a tendency to erase some of the karmic lessons and put in her own words if she so chooses. And she has a tendency to wrap her mantle around those that pay homage to her. She is, I don't want to say she's humanized, but she's much more partial. Is that a good word?
Compassion.
No, partial. Partial to those who love her. She plays favorites. Yes, she does. Where God, the Father, does not play favorites. No, he's just steady and constant. But when you give love and homage and speak her name, she really, you become teacher's pet for a want of a. And I sometimes, there was a big argument in the forum the other day about was that right or wasn't it right? You may think this is very amazing that we have different opposing opinions, but that's how we learn. We never get into fights, but we have very strong debates. And someone brought up the fact, does that make her less of a divinity? And we said no, because in order for us to be human, she had to be human to make us human. And that stopped the controversy right there, because nobody had brought that up. I didn't bring it up. I wasn't that clever. But one of our elders, a mystical traveler, brought it up and said she had to have a humanized quality, thereby she would have known to make us humanized. If God the Father, absolutely, if God the Father had made us, we would all been frozen and static. But we pick up the different emotional facets of her nature.
And the female is the first creation. I mean, it's the prima mobile.
That's right. And I think it doesn't matter if you feel bad that it's feminine rather than masculine, because one cannot do without the other. If you don't have rain, the flowers will not grow, and vice versa. So I mean, one adds to the other. Everything must be male and female. All right, now it's potpourri, so anything that you would like to ask about any subject, whether it's personal or otherwise, you are more than welcome to ask me. Usually I don't open it up for personal questions, but I don't mind tonight if you really want to ask me anything that's bothering you, or something that you're concerned about, or something that you would like my input on. I would be more than happy to. Yes?
What and why was there such a split in my emotion and intellect?
When?
The past, 5 weeks ago.
I don't see anything in your chart that shows that.
I was very, very emotional. I was having a lot of trouble at work, and I was having a lot of trouble keeping everything together.
Yeah. I would say this was more hormonal than I would have essence. It has nothing to do with your essence. This is a physiological condition that happens with a lot of women. Men too, for that matter.
But it just was added on with people being rude.
People being rude. You know, it's a strange thing if you've ever noticed, and it's unfortunate, but on this earth it's very common. All you have to do is get into a mood and watch every negative person in the world find you.
And poke at it. They will.
Yes.
It's almost like they're drawn. Unfortunately, it's like Sylvia always reiterates in the fact, try to hide something from someone, feel that you're hair doesn't look right, or your face is not right, and immediately, the minute you step out the door, someone will point it out to you.
Am I dressed nice?
Yes.
Now, I heard a famous phrase in there. If you don't believe, in asana, I think she's referring to, if you don't believe, try it.
Try it. Yeah. Yeah, it's fabulous. What do you got to lose? Nothing. Nothing.
And to our understanding, she likes. It's not that you're trying to say, okay, prove it. Like you go to insult the psychic, and say, oh, what am I thinking? It's not that. It's you're looking for that something unique, and it's going to be something that's unique to you, and you won't be able to prove it, and no one's going to be able to disprove it. Typically is what happens. Unless, of course, they're there with you and witness the event too. And then you go, see?
Yeah. Sometimes Asna does that. So I think it's marvelous to consider this like a divinity of pure emotion and magnificent love. But because I think about the women in my family when they're in a great mood, right? Like they're just over here, they're over there, they're doing they're the women in our life, they're busy, they like to do things, and so you never know how they're going to show up, and I think that's so wondrous. But if a child walks in, then mother looks over and is like, and they join the child wherever child is at, and so you never know. I never. It's wondrous to behold. I never know how Asna will show up. I just know that she will.
Yeah.
Like even if it's something that she can't necessarily help out a whole lot with. Like I asked over Asna's feast day, this most recent December of 2023. I asked for some reassurance of if a very bothersome long COVID symptom was going to get better this year. And I was just heartfelt, like, please, please, I need more. I know I'm healing, but please, is this year going to be the year that this particular thing gets under control? And I forget what exactly I said I wanted like reassurance with, if it was going to be a yes or a no, but I remember I did get it, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And it has happened. This year has gotten a lot better. So
cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Asna. So it's marvelous.
Any comments?
Yeah, so we've got prayers for everyone in the world who needs them, and it is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to you too. It's a day of wondrous celebration of freedom. Update on the cat situation that they were requesting prayers for. They were able to find their kitty, and just glad that situation resolved. Good. Another comment here: Asna will always show up or do something. Yeah, she's a very, very involved mother. It's fascinating. I really, really appreciated that somebody had asked a question, because if Mother God is more humanized, does that make her less of a deity? And another wise person stepped in and said, well, she had to be humanized in some capacity in order to make us human. Otherwise, how would God know to make what a human is? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really interesting, and I appreciate both the questioner and the answer in that. So it's good.
And hopefully this is helping add to that, because many times we have to talk about analogies. Mother God and Father God Father God put out. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, now I'm like splintered his essence, which was one piece of us, and Mother God helped add the other piece to that, which gives us our emotion and intellect as individual essences. Um, and I'm trying to remember specifically that it was it. Sorry, I'll say it, and then maybe I'm wrong. But the way I understand it, yes, Father God splintered his essence, but it sounds like it was his intellect that got used, or he's contributing intellect to our essence, and Mother God is contributing emotion to our essence, which gives us our unique individuality of ourselves, emotion and intellect. Sorry, I'm playing with autofocus here. Um, so that makes us complete, and yes, it's to embellish that relationship. Mother God helped being humanized. That was, I think, the contribution. That's what helped make who we are, and how our shortfalls and our potentials and our it makes up who we are for our learning.
Oh, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating situation to meditate upon, that everything that you hold in your intellect was a gift from the divine, and everything that you feel and are capable of feeling is also a gift from the divine, and it's up to us to work with that in order to mold it into something increasingly more beautiful, more faceted. It's amazing to me. It makes me so deeply thankful and emotional.
Yeah, I mean, it's that essence. It's just something also throws in my head. So if it wasn't Father God's intellect that was splintered, okay, it was his emotion. But in essence, it's they both contributed to our essence, and we also have emotion and intellect within each of us.
Yeah.
As individuals.
Yeah. And you can extrapolate that out just to give your. So if anyone is listening and you are wondering about
what the heck we're talking happiness,
about, right. So it's basically like how if something exists, like at all, if anything exists, it had to have been thought up, right? So we're applying that to people. If people exist, it was thought up by God. Right. Everything in physical existence, including, so now we're talking about specifically the things that are going on inside of the person as also being gifts from God. The fact that you have passions, the fact that you have likes and dislikes is a facet that was a gift from our creators, which is incredible to think about. And to me, it gives permission. It gives permission to be honest about how you feel about something. It's permission to allow yourself to pursue the joys in your life, to pursue your interests, to pursue the relationships that you find healthy and meaningful, as well as to give yourself permission to be like, I don't like that. I don't like X, Y, and Z over there. I don't like this situation. I don't like learning geology. I don't know, like whatever it is. I don't like this person. That is okay. That is okay, because we are told repeatedly that Mother God does have dislikes herself. There are situations that she doesn't like, and there's situations that make her mad, even, especially like watching beautiful people be like, watching like the earth or people being abused by terrible
and
circumstances,
and humans abusing the planet.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. What mother wouldn't be in a rage, about or be beside herself seeing somebody abuse their child or their home, just like, no, stop that, you can't do that, like get out of here. And so, and that's normal. That's normal. And it gives, I think that just meditating on all of this, it gives such wondrous permission and encouragement to all of us to pursue what we honestly feel is going to be the beautiful path, the following of your bliss, as Joseph Campbell puts it.
Cool. Now we want to meditate on it.
I love it. Let's meditate. Marvelous.
Cool. Well, for those of you that want to meditate, now it's time to find yourself a comfortable place to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful enriching energy. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on-demand. And for the rest of us, we're going to rejuvenate. So enjoy. Find a comfortable position, sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now, when you are ready, close your eyes.
The well-traveled road. Ask for the power of Mother God and Father God, the Holy Spirit, and your Christ consciousness to envelop you. And I want you to feel yourself walking in a field that is bright with flowers. The wind is blowing. Suddenly, as you are walking, you are aware that there are others walking with you. Some are running behind you, some to either side, some are skipping in front of you, and some are holding hands with each other and with you. You're all going along exhilarated, enjoying the warm and beautiful day, eager to see where you will finally end up. As the day progresses, the sun gets high, then begins to drop. You notice that there are not many chuckles, laughs, or footfalls around you. You look around. Is it your imagination, or are there fewer people with you? Well, you could have been mistaken. The sun sinks deeper, and the beauty seems to disappear. Yet you are determined to walk on. It gets darker, and now you are utterly alone. It is scary. But you know that God and your guide are there, although not visible. You walk alone, with no one to really pour your heart out to, or to walk with you. Then in a half-light, almost like a hologram, others begin to walk with you, shadowy at first, but shoulder to shoulder you are walking together. Maybe these are not just your first choices for companions. Maybe they're strangers in each other and into you. And there is something about the eyes, the handshakes, the hugs, that speaks to you of sisterhood, of brotherhood. As a group, you've traveled this road for thousands of years and will do it again. You feel calm, knowing that there is a spiritual homecoming. All pain washes away. All hurtful things that have been thoughtlessly spoken. Forgive these people and let it go. Walk on and feel the golden light of Christ and the God consciousness filtering all the way down to your toes. Keep the light all through the week and forevermore.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back to full alertness. 1, 2, 3. Find a comfortable. Wow, talk about letting go, identifying what you're. I gotta take a few deep breaths here just to get myself to come back. That was
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
well. If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to newspirit@novus.org. Yes, I
Woohoo!
restarted that account. It's been there. Um, let's see. Of course, we appreciate listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by promoting, liking, subscribing. Check out our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, chrisrightnow.com. We are on Facebook at Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio Show, the Novus Spiritus study groups. You'll find several of those. Yes, we're on Facebook. Facebook, I said that. YouTube and Discord. If you want to learn more about the philosophy, you can start a study group because that way you'll donate and get something in return. What else do we offer? Well, our pretty faces. In addition, we have church services on Sundays, the first Sunday of the month. I post a Sunday service with on Facebook and YouTube. There's also a live Sunday service in Las Vegas if you want to attend that, or they um, stream that live on a Facebook group that you can get invited to. On the last Sunday of the month is the special Sunday Zoom service you can participate in. Yes, you need to be invited to that too, but it's available. Check out, now it's time for the novena. So what we're going to do, it's a special prayer ceremony. And for those of you that are new, we are going to say a phrase together 3 times, and then I'll let you know what you want to ask for afterwards. And we're going to do that 3 times. So the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. So we're going to say that 3 times together. I'll lead us off. And it doesn't matter when you're watching this or where you're watching this, because there's no time on the other side. And they get the message, they get the energy, it all works together. How does this work? Why is this important? Well, we've heard about thoughts are things. Our tenet number 10 says, let no one convince you that you are less than a god. Do not let fear imprison your spiritual growth. And yes, I'm still having to learn this lesson as well in different facets of my life. Now, what I encourage that we all visualize together, that we're all in this huge room together, and we're holding hands, making this big, huge circle. And we're going to say this together, together, and I will lead us off. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay. Whoops, we lost somebody there. Oh well, she'll be back in a moment. So here we go. Here's the second one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. And if Kat gets back on here, well, we'll invite her back in. Oh my gosh, this is interesting technical challenges. However, show your appreciation. Oh yeah, what I like to remind people is think of something that you appreciated you appreciate that happened last week. And I want you to take that thought and memory and carry it with you throughout the next week. It'll help keep you elevated and spiritually uplifted. And of course, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheim for researching all of this wonderful knowledge, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And of course, Asna for helping us and protecting us, and Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Appreciate Bob Ingle for some of the graphics on audio. And of course, we appreciate Sammy and Javon for our theme music, our intro and outro music. Writing, setup, and hosting typically is Reverend Catherine Taylor. And editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now we got a prayer by Sylvia. Oh, wait a minute. Got it. Here we go. Prayer by Sylvia.
Pillar of Light Prayer. Dear God, we do not ask that you or your Son, Jesus Christ, descend to us. We want to ascend to you. We want to lift our hearts and spirits together as one, traveling up this golden thread, which is our soul, like a pillar of light, so that grace travels both ways. Let us feel ourselves ascend higher and higher to your blessing, to your grace, surrounding us in a purple flame, rinsing out all the negativity and all the hurts and disappointments we have gone through this year. May we bask in the blessing of all the good that we have done and feel the peace that descends now as we ascend higher and higher. Let this pillar of light shoot out of the room and begin to rise higher in the sky, because we want the power and the thrust of this to go higher and higher like a beacon of light, showing everyone in our world that Novus Spiritus does have the answers. let us be more and more convicted that our soul is dedicated to the truest of this mission, to make a resolution now to rid the world of guilt and pain and devils and fear. Let our thread of golden light attach to this pillar of light. May we make the pillar wider, larger, bigger, so that on each new thread attaches, it becomes higher, larger, until it spreads everywhere. Amen.
For so long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father.
Oops. Oh well. Technical challenges here. But hey, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your listening in. We'll be back, and Kat's gonna give us something here the next time she's on. So enjoy, and we'll talk to you later.
Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me.